over, we have to get to more record-breaking numbers for Caitlin Clark. Take a look at this here. Big numbers, big momentum. The most watched game on ION TV ever for the WNBA. Okay? 2.2 peak audience record viewership. Take a look at this here. This was Paige Bueckers versus Caitlin Clark. Okay, it averaged 1.62 million viewers, and it peaked at 2.2, the most ever for ION in the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark has moved ahead of A'ja Wilson in the MVP conversation, according to recent developments. The Las Vegas Aces have hit a rough patch, slipping in the standings, which means the Indiana Fever now hold a better overall record than Las Vegas. With the statistical gap narrowing between the two players, wins are becoming a bigger factor in the debate. Olivia Miles's numbers, meanwhile, are viewed as not measuring up to what Clark and Wilson are producing, putting Clark at the front of the MVP discussion.
For ION in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark is literally the face of women's sports. She drives ratings like no one else is doing, and it's clear and obvious that she's the face of the WNBA, and now it's becoming even more clear and evident that she is taking over the WNBA MVP race over A'ja Wilson. Take a look at this here. The Indiana Fever have officially passed up the Las Vegas.
Beyond the MVP picture, Clark continues to set viewership records. A recent matchup against Paige Bueckers became the most watched WNBA broadcast in ION TV's history, averaging 1.62 million viewers with a peak audience of 2.2 million, an all-time high for the network's coverage of the league. Clark is widely seen as the driving force behind women's basketball's audience growth, cementing her status as the face of the sport. The Fever have now officially climbed past the Aces in the standings, and if that trend holds, Clark's path to the MVP award becomes clearer.
Wilson, take a look at this here. The Indiana Fever have officially passed up the Las Vegas Aces in the WNBA standings. And if this thing continues, Caitlin Clark is going to be looking that MVP trophy square in the face. Now, A'ja Wilson's putting up monster numbers. Caitlin Clark putting up monster numbers. Olivia Miles putting up really good numbers with the #1 team. But I just don't believe that Olivia Miles statistically is doing enough to the level that Caitlin Clark is. Take a look at this here. After tonight's Fever,
Wilson remains a dominant statistical force, and Miles is putting up strong numbers while leading a top team, but her production isn't seen as being on the same tier as Clark's. After a recent win paired with an Aces loss, Clark is averaging 22 points, 8 assists, and 4 rebounds a game, with the Fever locked in as the third seed at 24-12. An updated ranking of top MVP candidates places Clark first, Wilson second, and Miles third, followed by Kelsey Mitchell and Breanna Stewart. Bueckers has fallen out of the conversation entirely, as her team has dropped 8 of its last 11 games.
Look at this here. After tonight's Fever win and Aces loss, Caitlin Clark is averaging 22 points, 8 assists, and 4 rebounds, and the Fever are officially the 3 seed at 24-12. Caitlin Clark taking over this MVP race. I think this is an accurate update of the standings here. Okay. Caitlin Clark, #1, A'ja Wilson, #2, Olivia Miles at #3. And then you got Kelsey Mitchell and Breanna Stewart down there. Paige Bueckers is no longer a part of this conversation.
Comparing Clark and Miles directly, both were named Player of the Week recently, but the statistical gap is significant. Clark posted 26 points and 10 assists on 51% shooting, compared to Miles's 18 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds. Over the last 12 games, Clark has been responsible for 46 points of offensive production per contest when factoring in scoring and assists combined, well ahead of the field. Across that stretch, she's totaled 313 points, 110 assists, and 41 rebounds, compared to Wilson's 319 points, 40 assists, and 114 rebounds. Miles's totals of 250 points, 83 assists, and limited rebounding numbers put her in a different tier altogether, as does Bueckers' 242 points, 63 assists, and 47 rebounds, especially with her team now sitting in 8th place.
You got Kelsey Mitchell and Breanna Stewart down there. Paige Beckers is no longer a part of this conversation. The Dallas Wings have lost 8 of their last 11 games. They're stinking it up. Now, when it comes to this Caitlin Clark, Olivia Miles comparison, take a look at this here. They both were player of the week, but look at the difference, in the statistical. Caitlin Clark, 26 points, 10 assists, 51%. Olivia Miles, 18, 8, and 5. It's not really comparable. Caitlin Clark is on a whole nother level from what Olivia Miles is doing, and I love Olivia Miles as a player. Okay, covered her heavily.
Sports commentator Linda Cohn weighed in during an appearance on Yahoo Sports, explaining that she would cast her MVP vote for Clark, given how much of the offense flows through her. She cited a notable statistic showing Clark accounts for roughly 40.5 combined points and assists per game, essentially matching the Fever's entire scoring output on a given night. Cohn also pointed to Clark's 4 consecutive Player of the Week honors and praised her connection with Kelsey Mitchell as one of the league's most effective duos, suggesting Mitchell deserves more MVP recognition as well. Cohn acknowledged Wilson's dominance. Her rebounding and scoring averages remain elite, and she's regarded as one of the greatest to play the game, but emphasized that valuable means more than leading in individual statistical categories.
And I love Olivia Miles as a player. Okay, covered her heavily at TCU, but there is a difference. There's a major difference, and I want to show you this here. Take a look. The last 12 games in terms of offense, Caitlin Clark is creating 46 points per game, and it's not even close. Okay, 313 points, 110 assists, 41 rebounds for Caitlin Clark, 319 points, 40 assists, and 114 rebounds for A'ja Wilson. Olivia Miles, 250 points, 83 assists.
She noted that winning factors heavily into the equation, drawing a comparison to the previous season when Wilson only passed Naphesa Collier for MVP after Las Vegas caught fire late in the year and finished strong heading into the playoffs, despite Collier also managing an injury during that stretch. Cohn suggested Clark deserves to be mentioned right alongside Wilson in the race, while noting Miles, despite a great rookie campaign, isn't at a level to contend for MVP yet, given the gap between her production and that of Clark or Wilson, even though her team is thriving. When asked to project how many MVP awards Clark might collect over her career, Cohn said she doesn't put much stock in individual awards, comparing it to how quarterback MVP counts don't always align with championship success. She said what matters most to her is winning at the highest level, predicting Clark could win at least 2 championships before her career is over, along with multiple finals MVP honors.
Rebounds for A'ja Wilson. Olivia Miles, 250 points, 83 assists, 54. Olivia Miles is not in the same ballpark as Caitlin Clark or A'ja Wilson. We're going to keep it real. And then you got Paige Beckers down there at 242, 63 assists, 47 rebounds. But like I said, the Wings, they fell all the way to 8th place. She's not a part of this conversation. But even when you look at Olivia Miles and Caitlin Clark, it's not really comparable at this point. Caitlin Clark, what she's doing on a night in, night out basis, statistically, and the fact that they're winning.
The overall takeaway is that Clark's statistical impact, combined with the Fever's recent surge past the Aces in the standings, makes a strong case for her being the current frontrunner for the MVP award, provided Indiana can hold its position above Las Vegas for the rest of the season. There's more to unpack here. Caitlin Clark appears to be revealing plenty without saying much directly. A previous breakdown touched on possible tension inside the Indiana Fever locker room, and there's growing reason to believe it. Too many storylines keep surfacing around this team nationally and internationally, whether it's about Sophie Cunningham, the fouls Caitlin Clark keeps absorbing, or Stephanie White not sticking up for her players.
And the fact that they're winning, they just passed up A'ja Wilson. She is definitely at the top of the leaderboard for MVP at this point. Let's take a listen as Linda Cohn joined Yahoo Sports and spoke about that.
I've been on that pedestal at that podium praising Caitlin Clark. And if I had a vote, I would vote for her because nobody touches the ball more than her. The offense goes through her. I saw a stat that was remarkable in WNBA history. She creates.
And there's no sign of these storylines slowing down. On top of that, White hasn't been challenging calls when Clark gets hit hard on drives. She's been getting shoved and hacked on nearly every possession, and tonight's game was no different. She got knocked down again. There's reason to think Clark has been subtly signaling that something's off with Stephanie White.
White. Now, Caitlin Clark, was on the sideline. Stephanie White was trying to talk to Caitlin Clark. Now, this should not come as a surprise. When Caitlin Clark gets frustrated, she don't want to talk to nobody. And this was another situation like that. Only thing different is Caitlin Clark sat, she listened for a little bit, kind of turned away, walked away, went to the bench. Caitlin Clark got back in the game, got the ball, and Caitlin got like this move, a gesture. You can tell when Caitlin Clark not finna pass the ball. I'll just say that.
During one sideline moment, White tried talking to Clark. That alone isn't unusual. When Clark gets frustrated, she tends to shut down and avoid conversation. But this time was a little different. She sat, listened briefly, turned away, and walked back to the bench. When she checked back into the game and got the ball, she made a gesture that read as her deciding not to pass at all.
You can tell when Caitlin Clark not finna pass the ball. I'll just say that. And immediately, Stephanie White hit the floor in the stadium like, oh my God. Guys, this is bad. This is very, very bad. And shout out to Caitlin for just subliminally, I'm going to say subliminally showing us that Stephanie White do not rock with her, bro. She do not rock with her at all. At all. And if anybody tell you guys otherwise, they lying. They freaking lying.
Right after that, White reacted visibly on the sideline, clearly stressed. That kind of moment says a lot. It looks like Clark quietly signaled that the relationship with her coach isn't in a good place. Not good at all. Anyone claiming otherwise isn't being straight with the fans or the media.
Lying to us fans and definitely lying to the media about this. Indiana Fever could try to do all the PR stuff that they want to do to try to cover this up. But at the end of the day, ain't no covering this up. Y'all hella lying. So this was an incident that happened at the game. Caitlin Clark and her coach hate each other. Right? Brick Center captured this moment right here, right? Now, I'm finna play this moment for y'all.
The team can run whatever PR spin they want, but this isn't something that gets covered up easily. This clip captured the moment in question, worth watching and forming an opinion on. In it, White is seen still trying to talk to Clark, and Clark turns her back and walks away, essentially shutting the conversation down. Then, on the next relevant play, the ball comes to Clark.
Center captured this moment right here, right? Now, I'm finna play this moment for y'all, and I want to know y'all reaction to this. Let's play it.
She's been scuffling a little bit lately from the free throw line. It's something she mentioned to us today at shoot-around. This was 2 free throws late in the Vegas game. And
yes. Indiana has been rolling.
So as you guys see there, Stephanie White was still trying to talk to Caitlin. And Caitlin, look, turned.
Watching White's reaction, she gets beaten off a screen. As the shot clock winds down, Clark glances at it, clearly aware of the time. She backs up because White already anticipated she'd attack that inside driving lane, and sure enough, that's exactly the direction Clark drove. White seemed to read the play in advance and cut off the lane.
Was still trying to talk to Caitlin, and Caitlin, look, Caitlin turns her back. And walks away. Walks away from her like, shut up. I ain't even trying to hear that. Now watch this. Watch this play. So the ball get passed to Caitlin. Watch Stephanie White.
Close out by Collier.
Look.
5 seconds.
Look.
Lately
y'all see that? Y'all see that moment right there? That was a moment. Now,
Clark ended up getting her shot blocked on it, though there's an argument a foul should have been called. Moments like that, paired with the sideline interaction, suggest Clark isn't exactly on the same page with her head coach, regardless of what anyone says about it. Meanwhile, Kelsey Mitchell and Stephanie White were all smiles and jokes during the post-game press conference after the loss. Everyone in that room seemed upbeat, trying to play it cool even though the mood underneath likely wasn't.
If you guys really know Caitlin looking at the shot clock. Caitlin's looking at the shot clock, right? She's back because Stephanie White already know Caitlin Clark finna go to this inside lane right here. So there's an inside lane right here. Caitlin Clark is about to hit this lane. Stephanie White knows it. Boom, lane. Now, Caitlin Clark did get the shot block, but I believe she was fouled on that play. But it's plays like that, and then it's
Only part of the press conference is worth going through here. Full credit to Tony Eastman's channel for the footage, worth checking out and supporting. In the clip, everyone's smiling, Lexi included. Question is why, considering they just lost to one of the weaker teams in the league. Kelsey was asked about her strong second half after a rough stretch following the Toronto game, and what that second half meant to her.
plays like that, and then it's situations like this that I believe Caitlin Clark is subliminally telling us she do not like Stephanie White. I don't give a damn what no one says. What no one says, bro. She ain't rocking with her, dog. Now, Kelsey Mitchell and Stephanie White was all laughs after a loss today. It was all smiles in the presser. They trying to like not be mad, but they mad.
She credited her teammates for making her look good, drawing laughter in the room. Worth noting, Kelsey logged 35 minutes that night and scored 37 points, so crediting the team for making her look good is a bit of a stretch. She added that she doesn't put much stock in stats since a lot of it feels circumstantial to her, especially without the win, and that staying focused on the right priorities matters more, repeating a phrase about keeping the main thing, something that's become a go-to line for this group.
Now, I'm not going to play this whole press conference. We're going to watch some of it. Shout out to Tony Eastman. If you guys ain't subscribed to his channel, make sure you guys going on over there and show that brother some love. We finna listen to some of this, and we're going to dissect it. We're not going to play the whole 9 minutes.
Kelsey, obviously.
So, y'all see? Smiles. Smiling faces. Lexi even smiling.
Lexi was then asked about working with the team's creative director and collaborating with him earlier this season. She spoke positively about his design work and the impact it's had, thanking him for his contributions and emphasizing the value of those relationships. Another question for Lexi touched on her reputation for bringing energy and physicality, and what she felt the team needed more of down the stretch.